Hi, this is Dr. Bharadwaz. I am CEO and Health and Fitness Specialist at Helseform Fitness. Today we are going to discuss on one of the important topics. We can consider it as elixir of life. If you have sufficient amount of it, you can live longer. If you doesn't have sufficient amount of it, your life becomes shorter. Such is the importance of the topic which we are going to discuss now, that is sleep. You take any health parameter. If you have sufficient sleep, every health parameter of your life is positively going to be affected. If you are deprived of sleep, every health parameter is going to be negatively deteriorated because of lack of sleep or lack of quality of sleep. Sleep is the single most physiological process which can rejuvenate every cell of the body, every tissue of the body, every organ of the body, every system of the body, and also entire human being is rejuvenated if you have sufficient amount of sleep, both in quality and quantity. Quality of sleep is as much as important as the quantity of sleep. Sleep will save your memories. It means it helps you in learning whatever you learn. Any skill you learn, whether it be a physical skill or psychological skill, means you want to remember something or you want to learn something. For example, you are a cricketer, you want to learn new techniques, or you are a scientist, or you are a student, you want to fix those memories in your brain. Sleep is the answer for it. You are going to fix all these in your brain during sleep. Not only that, most of the people will say over a period of time you will forget all your emotional trauma. It is wrong. It is during sleep. If you have sufficient amount of sleep over a period of time, all your emotional traumas are going to be fixed and you become emotionally stable when you have sufficient amount of sleep in your life. Sleep deprivation ages you quickly. Normally, if you are deprived of sleep, you have the physiology and psychology of a person who is 10 years senior to you. It means lack of sleep ages you by over a decade. There are also many diseases which have their origin in lack of sleep. If you have low sleep, or if you have low quality of sleep or quantity of sleep, you are prone to get more diseases. Your sexual life is dependent on sleep. If you have sufficient amount of sleep, both in quality and quantity, so you are sexually active, or else you will be performing your sexual activity as if you are 10 years senior or you age by decade. And also sleep has profound influence on your immunity. If you have good sleep, your immunity is at top. If you have low quality or quantity of sleep, it will severely hampers your immunity. Now you understood the importance of sleep. By end of this session, you will be knowing bit of required anatomy and physiology about sleep, and also you can differentiate what is normal sleep and what is abnormal sleep, when to call it as normal sleep, when to call it as abnormal sleep, and also tips to improve our sleep. So stay tuned to the end of this video, so you will get all this information. This is not something I have created. This what I am going to tell you from now is completely based on science, and also I have reviewed a number of research papers or research studies that happened on sleep over a period of time, and I have came up with this final conclusion. So in order to understand and appreciate sleep, you have to know something about the physiology and anatomy of sleep. I will not be going much deeper into it. I will try to be as layman as possible, but I will give you all the physiology and anatomy of the sleep which are required for a layperson. Sleep doesn't happen in a continuous way throughout the night. Sleep happens in the cycles of 90 minutes. For example, if you are sleeping for 10 hours a day, so you will have multiple cycles of 90 minutes in this 10 hours. Each cycle is divided into two phases. First one is phase 1 and phase 2. First phase is known as non-REM sleep or non-rapid eye movement sleep, and second phase is known as rapid eye movement sleep or REM sleep. Again, the first phase is subdivided into stages: stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, and stage 4. There are no subdivisions in phase 2. Stage 1 of non-REM sleep is known as light sleep. Stage 3, stage 4 of non-REM sleep and entire REM sleep are known as deep sleep. Especially the non-REM sleep. Stages 3 and 4 are very important for your memory. For example, you learn something, you learn a new lesson as a student, or as an athlete, you learned a new technique, or as a businessman, you found a new technology or something. If you want to fix that in your mind, it is the third and fourth part or third and fourth stage of your non-REM sleep that is going to help you. And coming to REM sleep is very important for your emotional stability. If you have a heartbreak, or if you have a loss of loved ones, and you have lot of emotional trauma in you, and you want to heal that emotional trauma, It is a REM sleep that is going to root out all this nonsense from your life. It is not the time that heals you. It is the amount of REM sleep you spent over your life heals you from your emotional trauma. The ratio of non-REM sleep and REM sleep are not constant throughout every cycle. So as the night goes on, the amount of time you spend in REM sleep increases and the amount of time you spend in non-REM sleep decreases. It means, so in the first part of the sleep, in the first half of your sleep, for example, if you are sleeping for 8 hours, in first 4 hours you will have more non-REM sleep. In the last hours, in the early morning hours, you will have more REM sleep. Means you will be dreaming more early in the morning. This is the reason, because you stay in the state of REM sleep more early in the morning than compared to late at the night. The important hormone you have to know about is melatonin. Melatonin is a hormone which is released in your brain with the signal of light. If there is light, the melatonin synthesis stops. If there is low light or no light, your melatonin synthesis will increase in your brain. That is by the pineal gland. What happens here is it will trigger the brain to induce sleep. It helps you in falling asleep, but it will not help you in keeping asleep. If you want to fall asleep, you have to trigger the melatonin synthesis. The only way to trigger melatonin in your brain is by knocking off the light or not putting light into your eyes. And one more important hormone to remember here is adenosine. Adenosine is a byproduct of your energy. Energy is produced from ATP, adenosine triphosphate. So the byproduct of utilizing energy, when you utilize adenosine triphosphate to produce energy, the byproduct is adenosine. Adenosine is accumulated in extracellular spaces and it is very important. This chemical will help you to fall asleep and also it will help you to stay asleep. The pathway the adenosine is going to act in your brain is by, it will activate the sleep centers and also it inhibits the wake up centers. It has both pull and push mechanism. It will make you fall asleep and it will make you stay asleep by activating the sleep centers and by inhibiting the wake up centers. Push pull mechanism through which you are going to fall asleep and you are going to stay asleep. This adenosine is going to be made by the neurons itself. When the neurons are active, they use energy and they produce adenosine as a byproduct. This is accumulated in the extracellular spaces within the brain. There is a biological clock in everyone's brain. This helps you in the circadian rhythm. Circadian rhythm means, so your physiology has to function according to the time of the day. For example, early morning you have to wake up, at night you have to go to sleep, at particular time you have to feel hungry. All this rhythm, the 24 hours clock in your body is maintained by the biological clock within the body. This is the coordination between various important parts within the brain. Now we have understood a bit of physiology and anatomy of the brain. Now we move on to differentiate between what do you consider as normal sleep and what do you consider as abnormal sleep. You know, sleep happens in the cycles of 90 minutes. At the end of every 90-minute cycle, every human being wakes up. Either he changes the position or some people go to washroom to urinate. You will be waking up at the end of every 90 minutes. Some of you may remember, some of you may not remember. If you are waking up at the end of 90 minutes and if you are able to go to sleep within 20 minutes, it is considered as normal sleep. You wake up for a washroom break and you have not fall asleep for more than 20 minutes, that is considered as abnormal sleep. And also how many breaks you can take. Over a night, 1 to 3 breaks are considered as normal. If the breaks are more than 3 to 5 breaks per night, it is considered as abnormal sleep. Next one is sleep efficiency. It doesn't matter how many hours you are in bed. It matters only how many hours you have slept. For example, on an average, every healthy human being will be asleep about 85 to 90% of the entire sleeping time. For example, if you want to sleep for 8 hours, so you should be in bed at least for 9 hours. So you have 1 hour of extra time. This time you can use the time before you go for sleep and after you wake up, and also for the breaks in between two cycles. So it is considered as normal sleep. If your efficiency is less than 85%, it means if you are in bed for more time and less times in sleep, it is considered as abnormal sleep. At least the sleep efficiency should be 85% to 95%. If it is less than that, it is considered as abnormal sleep. Quantity of sleep is very important. Elderly and kids should be allowed to sleep how much time they want. But as an adult, it can be male or female, you have to sleep at least 7 to 9 hours per day. That is the amount of sleep you need every day. Not only the quantity of sleep, even the quality of sleep is very important. So if you are waking up refreshed, it is considered as a good quality sleep. If you are not waking up refreshed, and also if you are disturbed throughout the night when in sleep, it is considered as low quality sleep. The sleep should be deep, profound, and also it should be refreshing. People can be divided into two groups based on the time they go to sleep. Some people are considered as evening chronotype and some people are considered as morning chronotype. It is genetically determined. It is not something they develop or something they acquired over a period of time. What it means is some people sleep early and wake up early. These are considered as evening chronotype. Some people go to bed late in the evening and wake up late in the morning. These are considered as morning chronotype. So it is not that they're laziness. They are genetically designed that way. It is something there in their genetics. It is not that they are wantedly doing it. So you should identify your own chronotype and you should behave accordingly, and you should not be feeling ashamed to go to bed late and wake up late. It is in your genetics. It is normal for you. If you are an evening chronotype and if you are forced to go to bed late in the night, that is abnormal for you. If you are a morning chronotype and if you are forced to go to bed early in the evening, it is abnormal for you. So people should be allowed to sleep and wake up at their convenience. It is the fundamental right of every human being. And finally, there are some very good tips to improve your sleep. First one is viewing the light. Every day you have to wake up and view the sunlight for 9 to 10 minutes. If it is done 2 times a day, it is very good. Whenever the light falls into your eyes, these light signals are carried into your brain through optic nerve and they reaches the suprachiasmatic nucleus. This nucleus is a space where your biological clock is present. It will reset the biological clock and tell the biological clock what time in the day. It is basically telling your body or biological clock what time is in the day, so that whenever it is night, the body will signal to sleep. Basically what you have to do is you have to go out at least 2 times a day, morning and evening, and try to visualize the sun. If you are not able to visualize the sun directly and the sun is already up in the sky, so just try to see just beside the sun so that the light rays falls into your retina and the retina is stimulated and these signals are carried to your suprachiasmatic nucleus, which is present in hypothalamus of your brain. That is considered as the biological clock. It interferes with pineal gland, which is present in epithalamus, and regulates your circadian rhythm. To maintain your circadian rhythm, it is very important for you to visualize the sunlight and allow the sunlight to fall into your eyes at least 2 times a day, morning and evening, so that it can trigger the sleep cycle whenever it is necessary at the night time. Exercise has many benefits. Exercise produces lot of adenosine in your brain. The adenosine that is produced during exercise will help you to fall asleep and will help you to stay asleep. And consistency is very key here. What I mean by consistency is consistency in going to bed and consistency in waking up in the morning. So if you are habituated to go to bed at a regular time and if you are habituated to wake up at a regular time, you will have better sleep cycles and you will have better sleep for it. It is not that out of 100 days you have to go to bed and come out of bed at the same time for 100 days. You have to maintain this on an average of at least 80% of the days. For example, every week you can take one day as leverage and you can go to sleep whenever you want and wake up whenever you want. But on an average, 80% of the days you should go to bed at particular time and you should wake up from the bed at particular time. It is not that you have to keep alarm only to wake up from the bed. You can keep alarm to go to bed as well. If you want to go to sleep for 8 hours, keep the alarm for 9 hours. If you want to go to sleep for 10 hours, keep the alarm for 11 hours so that you will achieve all your goals of your sleep. Always try to keep the room as dark as possible. Even the small light in your room, such as bed lamp, can fall onto your retina and it will stop melatonin. Whenever the melatonin is stopped, you will have difficulties in falling asleep. So keep the room as dark as possible. And coming to the temperature of your room, you will go to sleep easily when your temperature is at least 1 degree less than the outside. When the room temperature is cool, slightly less than the outside temperature, or 1 degree less than the outside temperature, you will fall asleep and you will stay asleep for a long time and it will be very convenient to go to sleep. You should have a wind down routine before going to sleep. The recommended wind down routine is, for example, if you want to go to sleep at 10 o'clock in the evening, stop using mobile and stop using any electronic gadget that puts light into your eyes, and it will stop the synthesis of melatonin. So before going to bed, at least 1 hour before, you should stop using all your electronic gadgets that put light into your eyes. But you can have a small amount of light, and if you want to read a book, you can read, but do not put direct light onto your eyes 1 hour before going to sleep, so that the melatonin synthesis is good and it helps you in falling asleep. You should have a separate sleeping room. Maybe this is not possible for everyone. Separate sleeping room is necessary, and you have to go to that room only to sleep, not to work, not to eat, not to play. What happens with this is you will be associating that room with sleep. And if you are not doing that, if you are using one room for everything, your body is accustomed to do multiple things in the same room, and it will not associate with sleeping patterns. So if possible, have a separate room for sleeping and use that room only to sleep and not to do any other work, so that psychologically and physiologically over a period of time, immediately you go to that room, you fall asleep. And also one more thing, by any chance if you are waking up in the middle of the night, don't stay in that room. Come out of that room and stay in a calm place, dark place. You can read for some time, or else you can meditate, but do not put light into your eyes. After you feel that you are sleepy, you go into that room and sleep. If you do this over a period of time consistently, whenever you go to room, it will be like switching on a light and you will directly go to sleep. This is also well documented in many of the clinical studies. See, we have 24 hours in a day, but our biological clock in your brain has 24 hours 30 minutes. It means our biological clock is a bit longer than the day. You have to reset this biological clock every day to 24 hours. How can you do this? You can do this by doing two things. One is putting the sunlight into your eyes. It means you have to go out at least twice in a day and try to put some amount of light into your eyes, especially on the retina. And also exercising in the light helps you in resetting the clock every day. Otherwise the biological clock is 24 hours 30 minutes. So to reset it, you have to exercise, you have to allow the sunlight to fall into your eyes. And the next tip is having sex. Whenever you have sex, it produces testosterone and estrogen. Both testosterone and estrogen will help you to go to sleep. And orgasm, whether you have sex with your partner and have orgasm, or you have masturbated, so it releases oxytocin induces sleep. This is not recommended. Masturbation has a lot of dangerous effects or ill effects, so I will not encourage to do this. But it is from the clinical studies, it is proved that even orgasm by natural way or unnatural way by masturbation will induce sleep. Napping means sleeping for small period of time in the daytime to feel refreshed. Napping is not good because adenosine is a chemical which is produced in your brain when by the time you start waking up. When you wake up in the morning, adenosine starts to build up in your brain, and it will be at its peak, at its high pressure when you go to sleep at night. When you have sufficient amount of adenosine, you will go to sleep. Adenosine helps you in falling asleep and staying asleep. When you nap in the evening, what happens is adenosine is cleared from your brain and the pressure of adenosine is decreased. So you will not go to sleep at the night. Even if you go to sleep, the sleep will not be as deep as you wanted. Especially the people who are having difficulties in going to sleep at night should not nap in the afternoon. Very few people, if you do not have any problem going to deep sleep at night, you can get away with having small amount of nap in the afternoon. But especially the people who are having difficulties in going to sleep, either in quantity or quality of sleep, you should not be napping in the afternoon. Next mistake people do is try to cover the sleep on the next day. For example, you have a function or you have a party which you are not able to sleep today. What people try to do is they try to sleep in the next day or next morning for a longer time. Or some people have a habit of working more hours in weekdays and having they will binge sleep on the weekends. This is also not good. Do not try to cover your sleep on the next day. What happens with this is the adenosine is not built up in your brain so that you can go to a deep sleep in the next night. The best way to do is, if you don't have sufficient sleep today, do not sleep in the morning. Wait till your next sleep cycle and go to sleep tomorrow night itself, and you will have better sleep, you will have deep sleep, you will have long duration of sleep. But do not fragment your sleep throughout the day. Then coming to the utilization of a snooze button. Most of the people will keep alarm to wake up in the next morning and they will continuously snooze it. It is not good. The reason is every time you wake up because of alarm, there is stress produced in our body. The stress hormones are released in your body. So it will increase the heart rate, it will increase the respiratory rate. If you are doing 1 or 2 days, that is fine. But you are doing it for months together, or you are doing it for years together or decades together, it will have very detrimental effect on your brain and body. That is not good. So whenever the alarm rang up, you have to immediately wake up and start doing your things. But do not snooze the alarm over a long period of time. And what is the effect on sleeping in foreign environment? Some of you might be having a job or the thing where you have to wander around the world, or you will be sleeping at multiple places. So the problem with this is whenever you are going and sleeping in a foreign place, what happens is half of your brain will not go into sleep, especially during third and fourth part of the non-REM sleep, where it is considered as deep sleep. You will not have deep sleep. Half of your brain is wake up and half of your brain goes into sleep. There is an evolutionary reason for it. So whenever you go into foreign places, your threat detection adaptation is activated. It means when you go into foreign land in the old ages, you don't know which type of threat you have. There might be some wild animals there, there might be some tribes which attack you. To protect from yourself in those environments, foreign environment threat detection adaptations are activated. As a part of this, if you sleep in multiple foreign places, you will have less sleep or fragmented sleep. You will not have deep sleep. How to counteract this? So for example, if you are going to some other place regularly, try to go to same hotel or try to go to same room, that rather than going to multiple hotels and multiple rooms. Try to sleep at same place every day. Coffee has a profound effect on a sleep. As we discussed, adenosine is a hormone which is released in your brain that can help you in falling asleep and staying asleep. There will be adenosine receptors in your brain where the adenosine is going to attach with those receptors and activate the sleeping centers and inactivate the wake up centers. What coffee does is these coffee molecules are similar to adenosine and they go and attach to the adenosine receptor, preventing adenosine to go and attach with the adenosine receptors. Then what happens is, even though you have high amounts of adenosine in your brain, you will not fall asleep, you will not stay asleep because it is blocked by caffeine receptors. So it is not good to have coffee in any form because it is not a natural chemical. It is not a natural chemical that is taken by the humans. So try to avoid coffee in any form so that you will have better sleep both in quality and quantity. You will feel easier to fall asleep and stay asleep. And coming to alcohol and marijuana, people take alcohol and marijuana to go to sleep, but this doesn't cause sleep. Alcohol and marijuana comes under the category of sedation. These are not sleep inducing chemicals, these are sedating chemicals. Basically what it does is it will knock out your cortex in the brain and it will give you sedation. Sedation is different from sleep. Sleep is different. Sleep is having non-REM sleep and REM sleep. In non-REM sleep, again having stage 1, stage 2, stage 3 and stage 4. This is sleep. Knocking out the cortex and going into sedation is not sleep. Even one peg of alcohol is very detrimental for your sleep. It will not give you natural sleep. It will wake you up multiple times in the morning. You will not have any benefit which you are going to get from non-REM sleep and REM sleep, and you will be emotionally unstable, or you will whatever is learned or whatever you want to learn will not be fixed in your brain. Your emotional trauma will never heal when you continue to drink alcohol. Even drinking alcohol in very low quantity as one peg in the evening is very detrimental to your health. It will wake you multiple times in the night. It will fragment your sleep. Sometimes you may not remember it, but it will do all the damage with even one peg. So never take alcohol in your life for any reason. Next common thing people use is sleeping pills. Till now, the human being is not able to discover or not able to invent any chemical or any device that induces sleep. Whatever the sleeping pills you are taking will not induce sleep. They are just sedatives. They will knock off your cortex. Sleep is different from sedation. In sedation, you will not have any benefits of sleep. And also, when you continuously sedate yourself, you are deprived of all the benefits of the sleep. Not only you are deprived of the benefits, you will have lot of adverse effects because of lack of sleep. Remember, sedation is different and sleep is different. Do not take sleeping pills in any form. One of the other things people take are melatonin supplements. Melatonin supplements are available over the market. People take to induce sleep. The problem with melatonin is The natural amount of melatonin you require to induce sleep is very small quantities. If you take it from outside, you will be overdosing the melatonin, and because of that melatonin, the final conclusion on melatonin studies is it doesn't have any effect on sleep except for placebo effect. Apart from that, it has many detrimental effects. It directly affects your sex organs. It decreases the size of your sex organs, sexual activity, both in men and women. So, do not take melatonin in any form to induce sleep. The effect of natural melatonin you synthesized in your brain is completely different from the effect of melatonin you take from outside. And one more important thing is try to avoid putting direct light in any form from computer, phone, or any other gadget into your eyes between 11 p.m. to 4 a.m. The research has proved that it causes depression. There are multiple studies on it. So multiple studies has proved that putting light into your eyes from 11 p.m. to 4 a.m. in the morning will cause depression in many of the people. And the conclusion is finally, sleep is a boon to human. It's a free rejuvenator of your health. Sleep is not cost today. Sleep is investment for tomorrow. If you have sufficient amount of sleep, both in quality and quantity, your productivity will be increased by many folds. Finally, if you have good sleep, you live well and you reproduce well. Thank you.